Welcome to USD 435 Update. We're always happy when you join us on this little TV program. I have with me today Dr. Twyla Sprouse. She is the principal at Kennedy Elementary. So she works with our kindergartners and our first graders. We're going to talk a little bit today about reading instruction and then just kind of talk about some of the happenings here at Kennedy. One of the things that we've been working in our district on for quite some time, about 6 years now, is developing a system of support for students in reading, just to make sure, particularly at those lower grades, that they have the support they need to become a good reader, because we know the research states that if they can read by the time they're third grade, then they're going to have a lot more success after that. So we're really working hard. So Dr. Sprouse, would you visit with us just a little bit about the support system that we have for reading and what we do here at Kennedy?
Sure. At the beginning of each year and throughout the year, the students are assessed by teachers on their reading abilities, their skills, and different things like that. So depending on the grade level, of course, the testing is a little bit different. Once the initial testing is completed, then students are put in MTSS reading groups, and those are led by teachers and staff, and they support the students based on the academic needs that they do have to try to build those skills and their confidence. And then as we reassess, the students are moved, the groups are fluid, and the students move throughout the system and increase their skill levels.
Okay, very good. So then how do we determine whether they move from one group to the other?
The AIMS benchmark testing, we do that, and then we progress monitor. So teachers will check in with students weekly or every 2 weeks, check on their skills, and if they progress to a certain level, then they're moved to another group. So it's based on, academics, it's based on student personalities and, potentially some behaviors, making sure that the groups work well together, and then the students are moved. The teachers collaborate every other Wednesday. So this week we have a first grade collaboration today, and of course next week would be kindergarten, but the teachers meet weekly and discuss the students and their skills and their levels.
We know more today than we've ever known about reading and the things that are needed in order to become a good reader. Some of those things are the phonetic awareness. They need to know that a C has two sounds and those kinds of things, as well as phonics, the different phonics skills. So those would be the different areas that we break up skill-wise so that the students can get extra support in any one of those skills that they might be missing. So that basically is the structure we have all the way through our elementary schools, and then we backtrack all the way through to middle school and high school as well. So that's a little bit about our reading program. I think you're going to get to visit just a little bit about, or go see the library and some of the books we have in there. But for now, let's just talk a little bit about what's going on at Kennedy beyond reading. What else is happening at Kennedy?
Well, it's an exciting time. Christmas around here is pretty exciting. The kids are excited about the lights and the different things they're doing in art. We have a music program for our first grade coming up tomorrow night. It is at the high school, and there will be 2 different performances. We will have Mrs. Burns' class, Mrs. Bourbon's class, and Mrs. Smith's at 6:30, and then at 7:30, Mrs. Hoffman, Mrs. Nuss, and Mrs. Tannehill's classes. So Mrs. Christner has done a great job with the students working on their program, and they're ready to perform. They're super excited, so that's exciting time for the kids. And we look forward to the parents attending as well. We have Red and Green Day coming up on the 21st. We have holiday parties coming up. Santa's going to come visit. We have the Dwight D. Eisenhower Mustang Singers coming over.
Okay.
They're going to do a little tour of schools on that Monday and Tuesday, the 19th and 20th. So the 20th, they will stop by Kennedy. So lots of good things happening. Exciting
Sounds like
things.
a fun time. I know the other night we had third grade students were engaged in their winter program at the new auditorium, and they actually were the first ones to break in that stage. So it was a lot of fun to see them up there, and they all could be on the stage at one time, which is something that we have not been able to enjoy.
Right.
So
it will be exciting. And then our kindergarten students, Mrs. Christner waits till the spring for them to perform because she's still trying to build those skills and things with them, and making sure that they're doing what they need to do as far as being on stage and performing and learning the songs that she has for them. So music is a great thing.
Yes,
they
it is.
They really enjoy it.
And there's a lot of things you learn from music that go right into teaching reading. We were talking a little bit about teaching reading. You know, the patterns and the rhyming and all of those things are skills that help us with reading instruction as well. So.
And I think people would be surprised to be in a kindergarten classroom and see what goes on. I was just in one just a few minutes ago, and you know, they're reading sight words, they're sounding them out. Then they all sit in a group on the carpet with their Journeys book, and each child gets to read a sentence, and then they read it together. So it's just fascinating what such young kids can do. You know, and the expectations are high, but they really rise to the challenge.
Yes. Okay. Anything else going on at Kennedy that you'd like to share with the viewers out there?
Just that grade cards, like I said, teachers are in the middle of assessments for grade level skills, and report cards will go out January the 4th to families. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes this portion of our USD 435 update.
Ride on into Riddle's Western Wear in Abilene for a great selection of jeans, boots, Western styles, and name brands for the working family. Riddle's Western Wear for the cowboy or cowgirl in all of us. Opening a child savings account, buying your first home, or planning your retirement? Everyone is welcome at Great Plains Federal Credit Union. Great Plains Federal Credit Union, placing people before profits.
Century Business Systems provides local Savin sales and service, competitive pricing, and simplified solutions for all of Abilene's copier and printer needs.
Midway Bar and Grill on Old Highway 40 is your local stop, offering fresh food and a great time. Open 6 days a week for lunch and dinner. Come in or call ahead today and try one of the best burgers in the area. West Plaza Country Mart, your friendly community grocery store. Now with online grocery shopping for home delivery or in-store pickup. Call, click, or stop in today. Be the belle of the ball when you shop Abilene Bridal and Formal Wear, offering elegant evening dresses and tuxedos for all occasions. Abilene Bridal and Formal Wear, where dreams come true.
As Dr. Guy mentioned, we are going to speak with Ms. Tula Shamhart. She is our librarian here at Kennedy and does a wonderful job with our students. So I thought it'd be fun for the community to know exactly what goes on in our library and her role in supporting the teachers and the students at Kennedy Primary School. So Ms. Shamhart, will you tell us a little bit about your experience and how long you've been with the district and at Kennedy Primary School?
Well, I've been here at Kennedy for, this will be my 16th year, and I love it. I love everything about the library. I enjoy reading with the kids and sharing my love for books with them.
Okay. What inspired your passion for reading, or who inspired your passion for reading?
My dad. My dad really did. My dad was able to bring books to life for me. He would share stories with us, children, me and my brothers. And there was one story that he always told to us about a little boy that went to the grocery store with his family. And that story changed from time to time. But ultimately, this little boy grew up and worked at the grocery store. Well, my dad took me to the grocery store and introduced me to some boy shelving canned goods on the shelf. And I knew all about this boy. That brought that book to life for me. And I love being able to do that for kids. Like when we have Ariel come to visit, Christine Frakes pretends to be Ariel, and she shares Ariel's story here in the library and asks, the kids ask her questions, and she holds that role to the utmost. And the kids love it. And I know exactly what they're feeling when they see her, because I felt the same thing. It's awe-inspiring. And then we also have Santa come, and that brings that to life for them as well. He'll be here on the 20th, and the kids look forward to that every year. And also, Bill Rice plays that role for us, and he's amazing. He also plays the role of Cat in the Hat during Read Across America week. And he brings that role to life as well. And I can see the awe in the children when they know these characters and they know all about them, and yet here they are standing in front of them. It's amazing to see that. And that's what I love to do, to bring that to life for them.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what you want children to experience when they come to the library, because it's not just about checking out a book. It's not just about looking at some pictures.
No.
Tell us about what they should experience.
Well, I think for me, I want to bring books to life, and I want them to enjoy reading, and I want to engage them, involve them, and for me, that's really what it's about, finding their passion for books. If I can share my love of reading with them, then that's really what I want to parlay to them, showing them how books can take us places, and just my love of books, and to be able to share that with them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Guy and I were just speaking about the MTSS process and reading, and talking about, being able to come in and talk to you a little bit. So how do you support classroom teachers not only with the MTSS reading and skills the students need to know, but how do you support them with the curriculum?
Well, the teachers share with me what lessons they're going to be sharing with the students, and we kind of have an outline of what they're going to share from week to week, and I try to make sure that the books that correlate to those lessons coincide. Also, if they have any new books or books that we need to buy, they share those ideas with me as well. But I also reiterate what they've taught in the classroom. So if maybe they're working on this week, reindeer. We're going to share that too here in the library. And maybe it'll be in a different fashion in which they shared it, but it just goes hand in hand with what they're doing, so I can either introduce it or reintroduce it to them.
Okay. What is your favorite children's book?
My favorite children's book, and it's hard. It is so hard. I mean, we have over 8,000 books in this library alone, and these are just K2 books. So, my favorite, if I had to only pick one and walk away with one, it would be The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. But I have so many favorites.
And your favorite author?
My favorite author would have to be Tommy DePaula. We write to Tommy DePaula for his birthday every year, and it's just another example of our writing and writing a letter. So we support that in the classroom. In doing so, we share Tommy DePaula's books and have an author study. And then from that, we write to Tommy DePaula a birthday card or a letter. They have their choice. And then Tommy DePaula always writes us back as a class. And he shares pictures with us. Every year he does that for us, and I so appreciate it. And there's no other author that does it so consistently.
Sure, that's fantastic. And then what about your favorite illustrator?
My favorite illustrator is David Ketrow. I love, his pictures are a hoot, and I have a book. I have a book set aside of David Ketrow that I'd love to show. Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon is another favorite book of mine, but his pictures are amazing. And every time I read this book, we get stuck on this picture. And I actually tried to draw this. Yeah, not as easy as it might look. But he's amazing. Love his stuff in all of his books. And you can pick them out. Much like Tommy DePaula's illustrations, David Ketrow, you can look at a book and know that that was his work. And I love that about him.
Well, you and I were talking yesterday about your father and some things that he used to tell you.
Yep.
And not only did he want you to read, because if you could read, you could.
I could do anything. And I love that. And I share that with the kids here. If we can read, we can do anything. And when I was, 5 or 6, I didn't really understand what that meant. But today, and as I grew a little bit older, I really understood once I was able to read and learn how to do things. It's simple. I think it hit me when I was making a recipe. I did it on my own, and I read it, and I didn't know how to do that before. Right. So it was really enlightening, to see that come to fruition after he had said it and realize what he had meant by it.
Yes, and you also talked about that he wanted you to watch the news so you could, be informed of what was going on in the world. And I'd like to just tie in the project you did with the students during the election. Of course, we had a mock election here, and if you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, my dad always made us, we would eat dinner and we had to read for 30 minutes and then the news would come on. And we always had to watch the news. I have 5 brothers, and we didn't really like watching the news, but we did it. My dad always said you have to be informed. So we would watch the news every evening. And in doing so, when we had the election, and there was so much talk about the election, and the kids were talking about the election, and we read the book Duck for President, because I didn't really want to make it about too much about the election, but I wanted them to know what it meant and the responsibility behind why we vote. And so we had a mock election. We read the story, and then we had a mock election, and we talked about being informed voters. Now, they also knew that many of their parents were going to go and vote and going to the polls, and what would that look like, and what are they doing? So this was an awesome example to have them kind of role play that role and show them what it would look like, what it would sound like, the responsibility of it all. And they loved it. I actually had a parent call me and tell me their child shared that experience during Thanksgiving. That is so cool.
That is, and it was fun to come in and see the kids, and they took it very seriously.
They did. They
and
did.
By the way, Farmer Brown won our election.
He did, and he was the right one.
Yes.
You know, and we talked afterward that Duck didn't. He never followed through with all the things that he was saying. And is it important to honor your word? So, I mean, it kind of lent itself to many other things as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to visit with us and to share with the community what the kids learn from the library time they spend with you during your lessons and during library checkout. And I think you're a phenomenal addition to our staff, and we are so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I love it.
Thank you.
Abilene Chiropractic and Sports Rehab, now open in Abilene, using a wide variety of techniques, providing elite care for athletes and patients in everyday life. Call, click, or stop in today for an appointment. Paws and Claws, pets, supplies, and grooming. Your one-stop critter shop at 312 North Cedar in downtown Abilene. Find that perfect dress that's just a little big? Have a favorite pair of pants that's just a bit too long? Alterations in Abilene can take in, let out, shorten, and more. Stop into their new location today.
Around here, we believe in local values like hard work, family time, or a fair price on reliable internet from a local company. That's why Eagle Communications delivers great local values, like a range of internet options to fit your family's needs. Fast and consistent enough to power everyone's devices at once. All at reasonable prices we're proud to offer our friends and neighbors. Ready for better internet? Give us a call or visit eaglecom.net and discover our local values today.
Thank you for joining us on USD 430 5 Update. And as always, if you have questions, please visit any one of our schools or come by the district office. Have a great holiday break.